Hey, what's up, everyone? I put together a panel today because we would like to talk about heavy music. There's not enough heavy music in the vinyl community. There's not enough people talking about, new and exciting punk, rock, hardcore, stuff like that in the vinyl community. So I put together a very esteemed panel featuring Michael from Noted and Archived and the vinyl guru herself. And we are going to show some heavy music records today and talk a little bit about why we got into the genre. So I posed a question to these guys, and I wanted them to pick a couple records at first of records that got them into heavier music, that led them down the path to exploring some of the darker and more abrasive sounds in their collection. So I think before you guys show some records, I'm going to show one that is very important to me. This is probably, I think, the first CD I ever bought. Maybe, if you don't count like Linkin Park and that kind of stuff, this is one of the first CDs I ever bought when I was a kid that had screaming on it. And this is Glassjaw's 2002 album, Worship and Tribute. Do you guys know this one?
Classified.
I don't know
Is
it.
that classified, honey? Oh,
Glassjaw.
No.
So Glassjaw are a post-hardcore band from, they're from Long Island.
Okay.
And they started out as a straight edge Jewish hardcore band in the 90s. And they slowly got a little more and more experimental. And they started working with, they were part of like the post-hardcore wave of like the early 2000s with bands like At the Drive-In and the Blood Brothers and things like that. And they worked with the same producer. This was a record they did with, you know who Ross Robinson is?
Yeah.
I think so, because I've got quite a few records by, kittens that you just mentioned. So I probably have a couple of Ross records without knowing.
Yeah, Ross Robinson was this producer that got really well known in the 90s for producing the bands that we know today now as nu metal. So he was the guy that like discovered and got popular Korn and Limp Bizkit and like a bunch of those other bands.
Oh, I see.
And
Okay, so
and he really, like, at the end of the 90s, he got really tired of that music and he started trying to look for a new sound. And he recorded a bunch of post-hardcore bands, starting with At the Drive-In's Relationship of Command. He produced that album. And he also produced this one in 2002. And I think it was his way of redeeming himself, maybe. But this is just a wild ride. It's very, very aggressive. Daryl Palumbo, and he's not really doing like a musical, like his scream is more of like a shout. It's like he's breaking his voice a little bit. And it's mixed with singing. And I discovered this because I heard it. I think I was visiting family in Florida, and I was just like walking around the mall. I was bored. I think I was like, I want to say 12 years old. And I walked into you guys are going to get a kick out of this. I walked into a Spencer's Gifts.
Spencer's Gift.
They might not have them in Canada.
Spencer's, is that like the It store?
Think like more Trailer Trash Hot Topic.
Gotcha.
And
okay.
that's Spencer's Gifts. And they were playing the song Pink Roses from this album, and I never really heard anything like it. And so I went out and bought the CD when I got home.
So good.
Yeah, I love this record, and I've since seen them play a few times when I got older. And they're just brilliant.
About that. I want to hear that, especially you're saying that Ross feels like he finally got his creative juices, like he finally was able to get it out there. As a producer who like kind of creates like a palette, like a genre palette, like you have a sound as a producer, right? Mm-hmm. So when you kind of like find like you change it a little bit and you do what you feels truer. Ooh, I definitely want to dive into this. But Glassjaw, is that their only album? I've never heard these guys.
No, this is, they just released a record. They finally released the follow-up to this, like I want to say 2 years ago.
Damn. Okay.
And they had a record before this called Everything You Ever Wanted to Know About Silence, which is a little more, I mean, it's still very emotional. It's still more, it's like, that record was emotional hardcore, whereas this is finally like experimental enough to call it post hardcore, I feel like.
Got it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a band name I've always seen but never gotten into.
And they kind of do this thing where they're like kind of always a band, but they might not tour for a couple years, and they come back and play a bunch of festivals. And Their guitarist actually is the guy that founded one of the big merch websites. I think Merch Connect, Merch, like one of the big band merch websites. So like that's
Like
what he does
merch
now.
bar or something? Merch Now, Merch Bar, one of those?
I think it was Merch Connect
Merch Connect? Okay.
or Merch
Never
Direct,
heard.
maybe Merch Direct. Someone look it up on Wikipedia. I didn't write it
Something
down.
corporate. Something
Yeah.
corporate. Okay.
Ooh.
Anyway, so let's go to Christina. What did you pull?
Me? Okay, well I went, oh shoot, I went a little more old school this time. But old school enough, but not really. I could have picked any album of this band because I just really love it. The vocals are insane. Very it's very eclectic. It's an acquired taste. I'm gonna say that it's an
Okay.
acquired taste, not for everybody. This is, of course, the birthday party, man. Birthday party is like stellar. Nick Cave's early band. He was in a couple, but this is one of his. And I love McHarvey too. He's done a lot of fabulous stuff. But yeah, Nick Cave, man, what his vocals are angsty, tasty stuff. The first side, if you don't like the first side, don't listen to B. If you don't like, hey, because it gets wilder, you know. But that first song, She's Hit, will hit you. I'm telling you.
Roland Howard was in that band too, right? I think
Yeah. Man, Nick rotates like mad. I mean, he's worked with literally at some point every musician, but yes.
that's great.
Yeah.
I've never
That's
heard that one. I've listened to some Nick Cave before, but his music has not super been on my radar, and I've never heard of this. But I'm gonna go look it up.
yeah, dive. There's a couple. There's like Hee Haw, Mutiny, but if I would recommend it to somebody who's, you know, a newbie to the birthday party, I would say try Junkyard. This is the one to first dive into, I think.
Is the sound dissimilar to Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds?
No,
It's
it's a lot more post-punky. It's a lot.
yeah.
It's punk. It's yeah. This is heavier stuff. Nick Cave's stuff is a little bit more adult contemporary now. You know, his stuff in the earlier days used to be angsty too, but as he got older, of course, he's more piano based and stuff like that. It's definitely not that. I think you're gonna find this tasty. In the world of punk, yes, fantastic for sure.
Roland Howard, who I think played guitar in that band through some point, has a few solo albums that Fat Possum Records just reissued that are absolutely fantastic. Just kind of rough guitar based, slow kind of raw rock, like kind of heroin tinged feeling. It's really good. Good stuff.
Really? What is one or two of them called? Because so many people from his band made side albums. It's not even funny. There was another guy too, like shoot, I forgot his name now. Badass Mexican dude. He King something. He's made endless albums. Obviously, Mick Harvey and so many people. There's also
This is my
what's his
favorite
name?
one. It's called Teenage Snuff Film.
Oh, that sounds stellar.
That's a great name.
That's a great name. Yeah.
Yeah, Roland Howard. This came
Okay.
out originally in '99, but it just got repressed last year.
Okay.
It's great.
Still in print?
I don't know. I
Okay.
would think so.
Okay. I want to check that out for sure. But what do you have to show for us, Michael? Because this is like double micro for me. It's
I
like
know.
M&Ms.
There's so many.
It's all right. You can call me MJ.
Okay. All right.
I got into heavy music when I was super young, like literally 5 years old. My next door neighbor was in middle school, and he would kind of look after me after school sometimes when my parents were at work. And we just played Nintendo and listened to Iron Maiden and Metallica. There was a rule that we weren't allowed to show like the standard classic Slayer, Metallica kind of stuff. So I left that out. But I started off with
But up the irons indeed. Me too,
Yeah.
when I was young. Yeah.
my first heavy concert I ever went to. I was in 6th grade, and I saw Helmet and Primus. So this was the second full length, kind of the breakout for Helmet, who of course was fronted by Paige Hamilton, who grew up in Oregon but went to Juilliard and studied classical guitar and jazz guitar. So if you the album after this, Betty, got a lot of notoriety, but there's a lot of kind of jazz guitar, kind of interludes between these heavy songs. They're all drop D and drop C sharp tunings, with a really tight piccolo snare from the drummer named John Stanier, who ended up being in the band Battles. If you're familiar with that band Battles.
Yeah, I know that band.
Battles?
He
I don't know Battles.
puts a crash cymbal like way up high, so he's playing and then hits way up high. But this is
Nice.
very, very syncopated, very staccato, a lot of like really kind of gated guitar sounds, highly rhythmic. All the songs kind of sound, it's all in the same feeling, but this is like 1991 or two, maybe. The hit song from this is called Unsung. That was like all over MTV in the early 90s. So this was
I'll
like
be honest, I don't remember. Okay, Helmet, like from the one or two songs that I recall from Helmet, I don't remember any of that like almost jazz influence in there. I don't
yeah,
recall.
mainly the album after this, which is called Betty,
Okay.
had a lot of that. But
Okay.
this is kind of like right before the grunge, like right as the grunge scene was taking off too.
Okay.
Helmet was based in New York City, but they kind of lived in the same time frame as like when Nirvana and Pearl Jam and all that kind of started happening in the early 90s. But that was kind of I believe this was on, Amphetamine Reptile Records.
Do you
This is
think that they would have made it more if they were also on the West Coast like everybody else? Maybe being East Coast was a detriment, maybe? I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, they're really huge. I mean, this sold like millions of copies, I think.
Okay, but I mean like on a crazy, like the grunge circle that everybody knows is what I mean. But yeah, for sure.
Yeah, they were definitely like grunge adjacent, more like on the like the kind of metal side, but kind of in mass appeal. Like it's very approachable, listenable.
Yeah.
It's not too harsh or abrasive, really.
And that would be the record you would recommend a newbie.
I think I would. It's called Meantime.
Okay.
Yep, it's really fun. It's great.
Yeah, I don't think I've listened. I've listened to Helmet before. I don't think I've listened to Helmet in over a decade though, so I need to go back and give them a listen.
Yeah, I only know the one or two songs too, sweetie. I don't even, what year did that come out, honey? Like around that
I
period
think
of like early
91, 92, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Back
Yeah,
to
that was
MJ.
yeah, that was the year 92. That was the year I was born, so
That's
before my time.
yeah. So many great albums came out in 92, man. It was a good year for music.
Okay, I'm going back to middle school with this one. So like I don't remember which album I found first, because I know the Glassjaw album I found like in like seventh grade, and I think this came out when I was in eighth grade. But does anyone remember the band Finch?
Yes.
Yeah.
Finch.
So they had that one song, "What It Is to Burn." That was the only song by Finch I had on my blue iPod Mini in middle school.
Amazing.
And I love that song, but it was very much like a pop punk song. Like at that time they were like a pop punk band. And then all out of nowhere they dropped this album, "Say Hello to Sunshine." And
What? Never seen that.
yeah, this is their second album, and
Okay.
it's so different. It's not a pop punk album anymore.
Really? Okay.
This is a post-hardcore album, and there's screaming on this in addition to singing. Everything is darker. The lyrics are darker. There's breakdowns. There's like weird time signatures. It's really like I'm trying to think of something that sounds like it, but it just came out of left field, because a lot of bands will start as like heavy bands and then like sugar up their sound as they go, and this was the complete opposite direction. And now, like as I'm older, I don't really like the pop punk Finch that everyone's nostalgic over. Like What It Is to Burn doesn't really do it for me anymore, but I still love listening to this album.
What are some artists that you might say that was influenced by?
Oh, I mean, this almost sounds like if you were to mix, like, there's a little bit of Rollins Band in here, I feel like.
Really?
Yeah, there's a little bit of Rollins Band. There's a little bit of Glassjaw in this. I mean, because this came out in 2005.
I see.
I wouldn't really call it close to At the Drive-In.
But
yeah.
Omar has so many side projects that it's like it could be anything else. You know what I mean? But yeah.
Yeah, I struggle trying to compare this because this album is definitely its own sound, and I struggle trying to compare it to any other artist. I can't really think of any at the top of my head.
Is it on a major label?
This came out on, well, this version, yeah, it came out on Drive Thru. And this version is done by Shop Radiocast. It's a Shop Radiocast exclusive.
Okay.
But yeah, and they had what's I remember seeing the single for this on, I think it was on Fuse. Remember when Fuse was a thing?
Yes, I love Fuse.
And like even the single off this album is like really like dark and messed up. Like it's like I think it's about like murdering your spouse or something. It's
Damn.
Just a casual dinner combo. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, okay, if we're gonna go, nostalgia of when you were, young, listening to good stuff, I'm gonna get one of those too. I've got right here a record that finally got reissued. Long been wanting this one. It got reissued for Record Store Day, and I was very happy to finally acquire. You probably will remember this. Distillers, man, Coral Fang.
I don't know that.
I don't
know
either.
the Distillers?
No.
I really like that the script letters there. It looks nice.
Yeah, so this is actually okay. This came out in 2003. This is the album that made them huge. Actually, this was everywhere. They were on MTV everywhere with this as well. I'm sure you. Okay, so this is the alternate album cover that's like under there behind the scenes. Do you know Brody Dahl? No. Okay, so Brody Dahl, huge. She was with she married the guy from Rancid, Tim. She was with Josh Homme as well. Anyway, she has her own band though, really killer, called the Distillers, from Aussie. She's from Australia. And this is definitely tasty. The song on here, Drain the Blood, honey, was the one that was everywhere. There was a music video.
I recognize the name of that song.
Yeah, right. Drain the Blood. It was like her walking in some sewer, and she's badass because she kind of reminded me of like the new Susie in a way.
Oh, nice. Cool.
Like in terms of super pale but like heavy eyes, almost black hair.
I love Susie and the Banshees.
Same
right
here.
Right, yeah, I had to, and this is my favorite Maxi, so but but this is I have to say a stellar, phenomenal record. Like the songs like the Gallow is God, Coral Fan, this is some heavy ish. You are gonna love this. This is finally getting a reissue too, because even this version goes for some money, but it's coming back, and I really think you guys are gonna really like this if you check it out. Yeah, because they have a couple of other albums I can show you here, but those are a lot more kind of closer to Rancid, and this has got more of a pop punkier feel to it. As they went on, they got more mainstream, more refined. They really got to get their sound. The other ones were, just the classic 2 minutes punk records, just get it all out, just blurt and word vomit on a record, and get it out. So yeah, that's pretty much, I would highly recommend Distillers. They're coming out with a new album soon too, so it's going to be tasty. They just put out they put out a 45 when they were going on tour a year or two ago with Third Man. So I don't know if that's still available or not, but hey, I'm happy to see that they have a new record finally, because it's been 2003. It's been Dewey the Man.
Yeah,
it's been a while, so people have been waiting, but
cool.
Give it to us, Mueller. What do you got?
So when I got into punk, loose term punk, after the grunge scene kind of ended, I got into like NoFX and Pennywise and Rancid and like Propagandhi and Strung Out, Good Riddance, Lagwagon, all that kind of stuff. And it wasn't until I got into university that I moved backward and started researching. Like late high school, I was like, wait, I keep hearing these names, Minor Threat, Bad Brains, Misfits, all this stuff. Like, of course, I'd heard all those, but I didn't own any of the records. So for some reason, I just randomly started off with Bad Brains as kind of like my first like crash course into like the beginning of this like style of hardcore punk.
Yeah.
Um, highly politicized. Henry Rollins says that the Bad Brains are the best live band, like kind of he's ever seen. Can't imagine anyone topping them. Of course, this is the one I started with on CD, Rock for Light. And the interesting thing about Bad Brains is that they mix in a lot of reggae, especially on this record. It's like super fast paced, crazy, raw.
Yeah, what an original band for sure. Definitely I love when there's genre blending.
Yep.
Ooh.
And of course, Band in DC was like the one that kind of set me off on this. But there are so many great YouTube clips of them performing. There's one from I think 82 or 83 from CBGB.
I was just about to bring that up. That live video is wild.
It's just like next level. I've never seen Bad Brains. If you watch any of their performances from the past 5 or 6 years, it's
not worth watching.
Don't go there. I
feel like even the 90s where they were just off.
Yeah, it's HR has lost his energy and his voice, that's for sure.
And maybe his mind, but
yeah, mine's gone there too. But Bad Brains was kind of opened the floodgates for me to learn, all the early 80s stuff from the East Coast, the Discord stuff and Minor Threat and the Misfits and the Descendants, and then all the West Coast stuff too. So this was kind of the gateway, start going backwards from the Epitaph and Fat Records bands of the late 90s.
I did something really similar, because like a lot of my entry into like punk and hardcore was through like bands that were contemporary of like when I was growing up. And then like as I started to get older, I started like paying attention to, okay, what would those bands listen to? And so like as I've gotten older, I started going like back and back. And like I think I really got into like that era of punk when I was like 18, 19, 20 in my undergrad.
Yep, same for me. Yep, exactly.
Yeah, I like seeing the roots too. Like, this is awesome. Where did this come from, though? So if this is the child, what are the parents? I love that.
Good question.
Killer.
All right. I got a fun record and a story. So the summer before my senior year of high school, I mean, you guys both know this, but to anyone watching, I'm a classical musician. I play the oboe. It's what I do. And
phenomenal, by the way, check him out on Instagram. He's crazy. Yeah.
And before my senior year of high school, I got into a pretty, like, for high school musicians, there is like one arts camp that like everyone kind of wants to go to in America, and that's Interlochen Arts Camp in Michigan. That's where a lot of people go on their way to like the conservatory and to be a professional musician. And so the summer before my senior year, I went to Interlochen Arts Camp. And it was a great experience. I was there all summer, but I had a cabin counselor there. You stay in the woods and you live in a cabin. And my cabin counselor was this saxophone player from somewhere else in Michigan, and he was a huge metalhead. And I was versed in like the angsty music at that time, but I wasn't really that much into metal. And he showed me so much stuff, like really like intense, complex, brutal stuff. And the one takeaway, the one band and album that really did it for me, that was my ticket into death metal, was Between the Buried in Me's Colors. This is their.
I've never heard of her.
Yeah, Between the Buried in Me. It's Between the Buried in Me. They're
Buried in Me. Oh yeah. Yes, the band I've heard of but never dipped into yet. Yes.
Yeah, they released this album in 2007, and they started out as like a very straight ahead like death metal metalcore band from North Carolina, South Carolina, one of the Carolinas. And with each album, they got more and more progressive, more and more noodly, more and more like mixing in the Dream Theater, mixing in the Racer X.
Opethy?
More technical than Opeth.
Okay.
Opeth's like, for me, I listen to Opeth, and Opeth is like mood. Whereas like Between the Buried in Me is like twin guitars going at the speed of light.
Like 7-string guitars.
Yeah, the bass player's playing runs. The drums are doing just like every single beat is a fill. And they did this album, Colors, that's just, the entire album is meant to be one long song. So it just each song is like 10 minutes long, and it goes continuously into the next track. And it's just, I remember the song that really hooked me was Ants of the Sky. That track, it just starts off with this kind of, I mean, because the vocals are death metal vocals, the death metal growls. There's not much, there's a little bit of clean singing. And as the band has progressed, they put more and more clean singing in. But now they're more of a prog band than they are a metal band.
Your audio got a little funny, honey.
Is it better now?
Oh yeah.
Perfect.
I think I covered up my microphone with the record.
That's okay.
So they've progressed and like now they are more of like a progressive rock band than a death metal band. They still mix in the death metal, but they've had that long journey, and this is kind of the midway point. So this is a brutal record. I mean, especially the last track, White Walls, is like one of the heaviest, most energetic death metal songs I've ever heard. But there's like jazz, it's smooth jazz in here. There's at one point there's a hoedown. Like
what?
it's so eclectic. They're just mixing in all their musical influences, and I'm
trying to imagine a mosh pit hoedown.
I think when I saw, oh God, I've seen these guys a few times, but one time I drove down to San Antonio to see them play the Summer Slaughter tour with Cannibal Corpse. Oh. And they played right before Cannibal Corpse, and it was like this huge contrast because like, they're the band that everyone just kind of stands and watches in awe. There's not a lot of moshing going on during a BT Bam show. But I remember like they played the song that had the hoedown in it. I remember like a bunch of us were like linking arms and doing the square dance in the pit.
But yeah, going from square dance into corpse grinder.
Yeah, it's yeah, but I love this band, and this was the band that let me see. It got me through the death metal growls, because for a lot of people, they just can't listen to the death metal growls. And I was like that for a while. Like I could do screaming like as like a percussive effect mixed with like melodic vocals. But for me, like the straight up, like pure death metal growl throughout the whole song was something that I just couldn't get until I started to see it is, oh, this isn't the focus of the music. Like this is a percussive effect. And I started like listening to all the other instruments and listening to the guitars and everything. And especially when there's one thing a lot of cool death metal bands do, and these guys especially, is they'll have the death metal vocals go with the guitars and play the same and sing the same rhythm as the guitars. So the guitar is playing the melody and the vocal is doing the effect. And it's like, it's actually very similar to what like Puccini did. If you ever listen to like Puccini operas, the way he makes the music emotional is he'll have the violins doubling the vocal part.
Wow.
So as the vocal goes up, the violins are playing the same thing in unison. It makes it sound like extra dramatic.
Wow. Very cool.
It's an interesting idea to apply to that.
Yeah, that's very cool. And it's funny, because I was the opposite. I went from like metal into punk. So I was able to appreciate the growls a lot easier because it's like everywhere in metal, I find. So it's like it's easier to take in. But wow, I really I love that technicality, musical nerd stuff in the end there. Appreciate that. Is it me now? Ooh.
Yeah, it's you.
I think so, right? Yeah, I think so. Okay. All right, well, with this one I'm gonna do a bit of a fuse too, because they kind of remind me of each other, so it is what it is. Well, one of the you mentioned kind of a grungier band, so this kind of falls into that a little bit. I love Melvins Man. This album is tasty. Of course, everybody loves Houdini. Who doesn't? Weirdly enough, I thought I had that here. I guess I got to work on that. But gosh, this is a killer one. I also love Nude Boots too. But man, Ozma is like, I mean, the drums are heavy. Everything is heavy, man. I mean, it's like walking in tar. You know what I mean? It's just got that feel. And another band I would really pin next to them with that kind of a cocktail is, of course, an Albini classic.
Yes. Such a good album.
Such a good album. Again, killer drumming happening. Dang.
Incredible musicianship. Like some of the most inventive guitar playing. And just David Yao is one of the better frontmen of that era of the Chicago kind of Albini world, you know?
Right? Like so underrated. I couldn't agree more. This is one of my favorite, like I love Albini stuff. This is one of my favorite things he's ever done. I agree. That
Not
Chicago,
easy to listen to all the time. You got to be in the right mood though.
true. Very, very true. But yes, in terms of yeah, that Midwest, like that Chicago, yeah. Oh yeah, you nailed it. I couldn't agree more. Tasty, solid playing. I don't know if they're still doing, I don't know what's going on with Jesus Lizard now. I haven't really followed up since, to be honest. But this album is just insane to me. Highly recommended. Same with, of course, Melvins, and Melvins, of course, kick ass still. I mean, I seen them in a mini bar, a little bar, which to me it bums me out that they play bars when they
Yeah,
should be
where do they play in Toronto?
they played a place called the Velvet Underground, which is kind of it's a cool sounding name, very cool sounding place. Although I will say, fairly small-ish for a band like Melvins, man. I feel like they should be playing at least like a concert theater kind of thing, at least, you know, for how well they hold down. But it is what it is. The place was maybe like a 300 seater kind of place, but it's in the middle of the city at least, so it's very convenient to get to. But anyway.
Yeah, I feel like Melvins nowadays are almost more of a cult band. Is in like everyone who's into them loves the Melvins.
It's true, which is odd because they're kind of like a musician band, I think, to some degree, because they have so much ties to other great bands and have done so much things with them. But I guess, yeah, you're right. You're right. It is kind of a niche culty ordeal.
Yeah, I have a copy of Houdini. I've seen them live. I'm wondering, maybe Michael, you were at this show. Did you see them play the Mohawk a couple years back?
No, I didn't.
I think that I want to say that was like 2015 or so. I really enjoy they're definitely a band. I think I enjoyed them live more than on record, but I really did enjoy their show.
It's true. There are some bands, they just, damn, they translate better. And sometimes they'll like do an extended version of it, just like riffage and taste. Yeah, I know what you mean. Sometimes it's okay, because I am a studio head. Sometimes the way records are mixed is,
yeah.
It's the mixing, man. It's not even the playing, it's the mixing.
Well, there's a lot of, I find in like heavy underground music, there's a lot of bands that have this really huge live sound, but because they're not going into the recording studio with a big budget, like that sometimes gets a little bit squashed. Like I have some friends in some heavy bands that I've seen I have some friends in an Austin band called Glassing that put out amazing work, and live they have this gigantic wall of sound, but they don't have even like a Steve Albini recording budget, so they just don't have them.
Weirdly enough, he's very affordable because he doesn't even take royalties or anything from anybody. Yeah. He's weird like that.
His masterings sound great.
Really, yeah. And he's indie budget, by the way. Like, I know because I am doing a thing with him soon. So whoa. yeah.
Royalty.
Very cool guy. What about you, Miller? Talk to us. What do you got cooking?
Similar to MJ, I think I was in 8th grade. This is like right in the middle of the grunge era for me. I'm a lot older than y'all, I'm sure. My friend Josh's mom, we loaded up in the Suburban and went to the mall, and she let us do our thing while she did her thing. I walked past Spencer's Gifts, and I went to a place called Camelot Music, which used to be in North Texas where I grew up.
Okay.
And on the same day, I bought a Bad Religion record, and I also bought a Fugazi record. All my friends said, you got to listen to this band Fugazi. So I came to Fugazi in the early 90s, 94, I think, or 5. So, but like right when I was into like Soundgarden and Stone Temple Pilots and all that, I got into this too, which is cut from a very different cloth. If you've never seen the documentary Instrument about the band Fugazi, pause this video and go watch that and come back. But Fugazi, I have to imagine, is probably the most influential.
Noted and archived, honey. Noted and archived.
Noted and archived. Yep.
Yeah, that's the one.
It's just unbeatable. I think they have this archive online now of live concert audio that I don't know if it's pay what you want or something, but there's like hundreds of shows you can download, like high res audio, and there's tons of their shows that are just on YouTube. But the documentary about them, highly political band. They always had the price, never pay more than $11 for this record. They always, even when they were huge and playing for thousands of people, they only charged $5 per ticket.
Amazing.
They never made any merch. They only had albums for sale. They started their own label. The first couple years of their career, they only played charity concerts where all the money was donated to a cause they were behind. So the mixture of the perfect rhythm section between the drums and the bass, and then the kind of the angular guitars and the mixed vocals between Guy and Ian. I mean, hard to go wrong. This band is probably more influential to most modern kind of indie music than I would say, a lot of bands. Highly great band. But
yeah, I think I don't know many people many bands in like the 2000s playing heavy music that weren't hugely influential, hugely influenced by Fugazi. I mean, they taught, like, that's how I found out about Fugazi, is all these bands are just talking about Fugazi all the time.
Yeah, same. And they have this kind of formula of having kind of a rhythmic hook and then building up sort of like a dissonant, kind of discordant sort of melody between the guitar chords and the singing melody. Then they would just break it and go into a straight tempo and a major key changing. It's just like a lot of building up and then breaking into this like clean, like pop almost melody. I highly recommend it.
Is that the album that came after that? Red cover, 13 songs or something like that.
Yeah.
That's the one that came right after that, no?
Yeah, I think so.
Right after? Okay.
Find on the back.
Well, I think it was actually 2 EPs. It was like 10 songs, and then there was a 7-inch that was 3 songs.
Yeah.
Okay.
This was 1990. This was 88.
Yeah, right. Okay. So because my mind does that, like, okay, years, what? Okay, boom, got it. All right. Because I know Red Baby, yes. Repeater, no. So you're saying I should repeat the process and get into Repeater?
Probably so.
Okay.
I mean, I like. I'm a big fan of Steady Die to Nothing. That's an album. That's one of their albums that I really enjoy.
Yep. I mean, yeah, it's hard to. All their stuff is great.
The one I like, it's like in on the
Kill Taker.
Yeah, In on the Kill. Yeah, that's a great one too.
That's my favorite. That was, I think Albini did a version of that, but they ended up not using it. But you can find those mixes. Ooh. But if you've never seen them live, go to YouTube, watch the documentary. But look at that shot. I mean,
what a shot!
Completely inverted, with this foot right in the camera. Gives you a little sense of the energy going on stage there.
Love it.
All right, Poetry on Plastic.
All right, so we're moving from our influential albums to stuff we've been listening to recently. So I'm gonna pull out something. I mean, none of these are from these are all like, funny enough, everything I grabbed is like technically like 2 or 3 years old, but it's stuff I've been spinning recently. So who here has heard of a band called Envy? Oh yeah, Envy?
Envy, yes.
Oh yeah, okay. You both know Envy. Good. So Envy is a band from Japan that everyone should listen to and look up. But there's a band that kind of came about in Envy's like footsteps, and Envy's kind of sphere of influence. Another band from Japan called Heaven in Her Arms.
You've showed this before, like in the last few months, right?
I don't know. Maybe.
Oh. I feel like
I'm not sure. I might have showed Heaven in Her Arms before in like some vinyl updates, but I think it's been a while.
He's calling you out. He remembers.
I know I've heard about this from you. I don't know if it was recently or like a year ago or something.
Perhaps. I'm not sure. But this is their most recent album, White Halo, and this came out in 2017. But so what's funny is Heaven in Her Arms, I'm pretty sure they're named after the Converge song.
Amazing.
But this is a band that I feel like, Envy always kind of do this. Their whole thing is like heavy post-rock with metalcore influence. And I think Heaven in Her Arms they do the post rock thing, but it's a little more in the screamo and almost like a screamo and like black gaze. And like a little bit of black metal influence. So they do the more like faster and chaotic and a little bit more with the leading guitar. And to be honest, between the two bands, I mean, I love both bands, but Heaven in Her Arms has always been the more the one that's more appealed to me and appealed to my bass instincts.
Really?
And this is definitely
kind of looks like a Cocteau Twins album cover.
So
Weird.
beautiful.
Yeah, I like it.
yeah. All their album art is very like all their covers have kind of like an abstract art element to them.
Cool.
And man, they're just. I saw when I lived in Montreal, I saw Envy play on tour with Death Heaven, and
Wow.
and I was talking with some guys after the show when I was waiting in the merch line, and I said, "Oh, but what I really want is someday I want Heaven in Her Arms to tour North America because I've never seen them live." And the dude goes, "Oh, well, the guy working the merch booth plays in Heaven in Her Arms."
No way.
And so I like went over and fangirled out to the guy at the merch booth. I was like, "You guys got to tour North America. You guys got to come tour here."
Wow.
Yeah, I love these guys. I hope they put out some more. I think this is their most recent release. I really hope. I might be wrong. They might have done a split or something. But I want them to put out more music because they're incredible.
That's cool.
When did that come out, sweetie? You saying that
this came out in 2017, and it's very easy to get in the States. Like they release a lot of their music. I don't know if they release it on a label in the States, but it's definitely in distros. Like it's very easy to get.
Okay.
Red.
Me? Oops. All right, I'm gonna go get it right now. This band, UK, everybody probably knows them at this point, but this is the album. I'm showing this album because this is the album that I got into them on. But you probably know Idols. I mean, these guys are killing it right now. Like, and there's
I don't.
No?
Ooh, I know that you keep showing stuff that I'm not in the loop on.
Yeah? Okay, so this is awesome. This is a band called Idols. These guys, Idols. This is the album Brutalism. Really, really tasty, darling. This came out same year as yours did in 2017. I listened to this song, Heal, Cunning, Smart, love it. Very tasty, man. And I'm like, okay, whoa, I gotta dive into this more. I checked it out, bought it instantly. It was one of those instant buys. And now they have a new record that just came out recently. I can show it to you right now. It's called Ultra Mono. Very tasty. But they got a lot of good stuff going on. This is the album cover for the new stuff.
I think they won an award for that album, for that photo.
I don't know why I'm marketing for them right now, but there we go. These guys are so brutal live, like brutal in a good way. I mean, brutalism, yes, man. I love it. They've got that energy that's like that old school punk energy that is I've been waiting for, the sweat, the oh shoot, where's my left tooth? Love that. So these guys definitely the right energy to see live and also killer music.
That would be great because I haven't heard many straight up punk bands in a while that have really like blown me away. Like it feels like it's that kind of stuff was really big in like the early 2010s with stuff like Ceremony and like Touche Amore and like those kind of bands. And I haven't, as far as hardcore punk goes, I haven't heard a lot of like just straight up raw music in a while. So I got to check that out.
Yeah, it's a little more. What do you want? It's very British.
Very British, yes. That's why I said UK punk band. Yes.
You can feel like the joy. It's like Joy Division, but like taken to like the extreme, like that kind of energy.
Oh, okay.
They're great. I actually first saw them on the KEXP in studio sessions they do, and it was just like balls to the wall. Like one guy just wears like boxer shorts and nothing else.
Yes. He's seen them. He's seen them live. He knows what he's talking about right here because it's true.
They don't own any of the records. I think that they're really popular in the UK. Like they've won a bunch of like the awards and things for their releases.
Yeah, they're pretty big over there. There's another band that I can show you too that I guess we'll talk about next time, but also similar cocktail in that. But Show us what you got, M&Ms.
All right, this is a band. I think MJ. Yeah, I think MJ knows this one. This is a New York band called Seisha.
Oh, you got
Um,
the original.
this is OG. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I have. Wait.
Oh no, I don't know this.
You know what? I almost wore my Seisha shirt today.
Oh, you have a shirt. That's incredible.
Oh, I love not knowing stuff. This is fun for me. Okay,
Okay, so this is, I believe this is sort of, yeah, amazing.
double
So
trouble
I
here.
bought this off Discogs, and the seller was the guitar player of Pelican. I bought
Oh,
this,
whoa.
and I was like, "Why are you selling all these records?" Because I looked on his items, and he got his pedal board stolen after a show, and he was trying to buy all of his pedals back. I was like, "Dude, that sucks, but I'll take this one off your hands."
That
Um,
sucks.
this was a band from New York City in, I don't know, like the mid aughts, probably
No,
early aughts, 2002 or something.
I think they were They were late 90s.
Okay. Um, I believe the drummer of this band went on to play in Interpol, the band.
Whoa.
For
Or,
like a
Love
demo.
Interpol.
Yeah,
oh,
for
just
like some early stuff.
not.
Yeah.
And then the singer and maybe one of the guitarists went on to form the band Hot Cross. Is that right, MJ?
Whoa.
It was the singer and the drummer.
Singer and the drummer.
And then the
So,
singer and the drummer did Hot Cross, and then the guitarists, one of the guitarists and the bass player, I think, did. Uh, uh, I'm blanking. Off minor. There we
off
go.
minor, that's it. So very kind of kind of jazz influence in terms of the time signatures, like extremely technical. You wouldn't. It's not mathy by any means, really, but
Okay.
pretty spazzy, very esoteric, poetic lyricism. A lot of talking and then high pitched screaming, like back and forth. Um, not recorded too well, but it's the energy and like the feeling and the ethos of it is just absolutely incredible. If I'm not mistaken, MJ, you can correct me. The name comes from a Miles Davis tune, right?
Oh.
I don't know.
I think they're. I think it's Sketches of Spain, but it doesn't have the I. It's just Seta,
Huh.
if I'm not mistaken. Look into it.
You're making me want to get my Sketches of Spain out to check right now.
I think
Yeah,
But
that's such a beautiful album. It really is.
my friend just got the cassette tape, which
Oh,
sounds
that's very
it
rare.
sounds horrible. It's like unlistenable. But it comes with this massive poster that has all the lyrics.
oh wow.
This is a band that only was around for a few years, and they had a couple of like compilations and maybe a couple 7 inches, and then this is like their discography, basically. Um,
Oh wow.
No, that's the
Oh, and that's the last thing they ever put out, honey? Like this is
they,
like a
I
compilation
think they have.
almost?
Maybe I'm mixing. They had this was the full length, and they had another one that
they
had
had
all.
and they had 2 7 inches. Yeah,
Okay.
and then a couple of years ago, Jeremy, the singer from Touche Amore, put out their discography on vinyl
Mhm.
Whoa.
because their entire discography fits on 2 LPs.
Right. So
And
it includes
Okay.
this. It includes this, all these songs, and then like 4 or 5 more. But it's, I mean, it's kind of there's moments of like brutal stuff, but then there's also like kind of sweet moments too. I don't know. I love this. This is I don't know what you would call it, like post-hardcore
It's screamo.
screamo.
So this is when people when people on the internet are like angrily typing like real screamo. This is what they mean when they mean real screamo.
Okay.
High,
Or the term
high
is
Tell
yeah.
me that it's sorry, I just want to make this point. It's kind of good you said it's kind of not mathy because that mathcore stuff I'm very picky with. So it's good you said that it's not like that. But anyways, carry on.
Yeah, but it's kind of, the music is actually pretty complex, I would say. Yeah, but I highly recommend this.
yeah. The
It's
drumming on that is incredible.
yeah.
Okay.
The vocal delivery also is very unique.
Yeah.
There's a lot of times where he's like speaking like poetically real fast, and then it'll just like break into this like really heavy screaming straight from the talking kind of. It's very
Yeah, he does a
Nice.
really good like it's almost like a head voice scream, like a head voice falsetto shout.
Oh
It's
shoot.
yeah.
Like that's like classic 70s metal kind of scream.
Bobby Werner is his name, right? Something like that. Bobby Warner or Warner.
I thought I wanted to say Greg, but I might be mixing him and the drummer up. But yeah, and then he would his next band, Hot Cross. I think the vocal delivery was a little bit more punk. Like this is him when he was a little bit younger and wilder. But what's funny is you guys may or may not know this, but so this is like for a lot of people that are into screamo as a genre, this is like the album. This is like their Led Zeppelin 2. And
Wow. Wow.
but people that are into the genre to differentiate poser screamo from real screamo, they call the real screamo like this. They call it scrams.
Scram.
What? Okay, hold on. What would be an album or a band or something that would be kind of considered poser screamo? So I can kind of get an idea.
Alisana,
I don't know that.
Got you.
or just like that kind of like out like the kind of like mid 2000s like mall punk kind of,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Okay, I got you. That is, it's a,
So,
and
like,
it's like a certain era too.
This
Or
kind
it's,
of music was really like this kind of music's first wave was like in the late 90s.
like Swing Kids,
Yeah, Swing Kids.
Charles Brunson, stuff like that.
oh, Charles Bronson. Okay, got you.
Cool. Yeah, but if you like that, this is a little more like musical. It's a little more melody going on, I would say, than that kind of stuff.
It's got
A
some
little
really
easier.
beautiful moments.
Yeah.
Okay, that definitely is selling it to me. I'm gonna have to check this out, guys.
Oh,
Right.
okay. Is that me?
Yeah, name.
All right. This one's even actually older than the last one. This came out in 2016, but it's one I've come back to recently. And this is a not a split record, but a collaborative record between two bands, the band Full of Hell and the band The Body. This is I gotta get the name right. This album's called One Day You Will Ache Like I Ache.
Oh,
And
Nice.
yeah, so this is a collaboration between the
Casual.
power violence grindcore band called Full of Hell and this kind of like experimental noise metal band called The Body, which is a duo, I believe. And this is just like this sounds like some of this. You ever watch the movie Event Horizon
I haven't. No.
with Morpheus and
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
Lawrence
you know like
Fishburne.
the hell scenes in that movie. This music sounds like that.
Mm.
It's some of the most like demonic. It's because it's just brutally heavy. Like imagine if you took like brutally heavy grindcore power violence and then just put it through like a experimental twisted filter, and that's this record. It's crazy.
Did The Body?
What's the?
Go
Oh,
ahead.
sorry, go ahead.
You first, please.
You sure? Okay. What's the band name? Because first of all, that album title, it reminds me of that whole song. But remember, one day you will like I ache,
I
right?
never really listened to Whole.
Okay, but
I wonder
that
if
is
that's
literally they ripped it from that. But what's the band name though, honey?
So it's two bands. The first band is Full of Hell.
Oh, it's a split.
Well, they're playing together.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a
Cool.
collaboration record. It's Full of Hell and The Body.
Okay. Okay.
And Full of Hell have done a lot of records like this. They've done two albums with. Do you know who Merzbow is?
I don't, honey.
Very famous. Like if you ever the genre harsh noise, he's like the guy. He's this Japanese harsh noise artist that's been around since the 90s, and he's worked with everyone from like he did an album with Shushu, and yeah, but he did two albums with the band Full of Hell, and those are also great, and I wanted to grab those, but I think this is the one that I gravitated towards. If you
beautiful artwork too.
Yeah,
I should
right?
show you.
I mean, are those like are those little eyes? Like what is
Yeah.
that? I was
the back
Ooh.
cover is kind of trippy as well.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh,
Did The
people-
Body also do a split with Thou? You know that
Yeah,
band
they
from
did.
New Orleans? Yeah.
I want
I've
to
heard
see if
that
I
one.
can find their second album has some very interesting artwork. I mean, they're kind of this may get us demonetized, but like this is the artwork for their second album. It's
oh shoot.
yeah, the images look like the music sounds.
Very intense.
Soul sucking. I got you.
Yeah, I saw them play. I think I only saw them play once. I saw them play at. I don't know if you guys have been in New York City, but there's a very famous venue in New York called St. Vitus
Yeah.
that I went to a lot of shows at when I lived in New York.
Brooklyn, what's up?
Yeah, but that's where I saw Full of Hell play.
Amazing. Classic.
Yeah, I love St. Vitus. What a cool place. St. Vitus is a place that I would. By the way, great band and bar. But anyway, Saint Vitus though is a place that I would recommend, or I would have thought that this band here would play at. This band is also kind of new. This album just came out, what, 2 years ago, maybe? So you probably know this. This band is very similar to me, like as Idols, in terms of their ethos, like one of the wildest. I mean, I had to hold on to the wall, like, honey, everything, all my jewels, all my jangles, everything was gonna go fall off. I think by the end of the show, I was like looking for my small intestine, honey. But this band right here, Amyl and the Sniffers, I know you probably have seen this album cover. What a banger of a band.
I don't think I've ever seen this.
Dude, you're on the Australian tip today. I love it.
Yeah, true. I don't know why, but I won't be for the next one. But these guys, my gosh, I mean, wild haircuts, unapologetic missing tooth. I mean, yes, you know what I'm saying? Yes. This song right here, Gagged on Anger. That's the song that got me into them. Cup of Destiny. They put a 45 for that one. Damn, what a banger, darling. What a banger. Yeah, this is it, man. This is like punk rock. Like, yeah, the ethos is so here. You know, when some people, you watch them, you're like, this is bullshit, man. You're not punk. Like, you know, these guys are not bullshit. They're the real deal. They are really punk. Even the way they walk, even the way they take their drink and just they hack all over the stage. I mean, this is it.
Like licking ashtrays and like wearing old underwear and stuff.
Oh, honey, yellow, crusty, yes. But Amyl and the Sniffers, yeah, they really are it. What do you got, Eminem?
I'm gonna show. So I grew up my adolescence in North Texas, and the closest cool town to me is called Denton, where the University of North Texas is, a renowned music program there. But there's a ton of music kids from all over Texas and Oklahoma that would come to university there to play music.
The basements, right?
Yep.
The Denton basements.
There was another band. Actually, the minimal composer William Basinski went there and studied jazz, played saxophone. Anyway,
this is all you, MJ. This is all you right now. You gotta.
There are so many good bands from Denton. Tons of punk bands in like the Epitaph Fat, and also hardcore and screamo, like the New York hardcore scene, Revelation Records kind of stuff.
Yeah, so many great small labels came from Denton for sure.
Yeah. So there was like three amazing record shops in a town of like 50,000 people. Like,
wow,
great scene, great music scene, like college, liberal college town. But this one place had house shows. It was called the Bonnie Bray House, and they would hand out flyers at the venue called the Argo. All these punk bands would play, and people that lived in the house would make flyers for the following night or the next weekend. And people would go. I would go to this house, like random people's house. Never met them, but I probably saw 15 or 20 shows there. The guy who lived in the house was this guy named, I think his name was Jeff Burke. Jeff Burke, after the bands would play, he'd get on the mic and he's like, meet me in the bedroom if you want 7 inches. And he had all these boxes of 45s of bands that he put out and he would tour with, and he kind of like had his own little private record shop. He was in a band called the Reds, with some of the guys that started that band Riverboat Gamblers.
I know Riverboat Gamblers.
So like from that kind of world, he started this band called the Marked Men.
I've heard of them.
Yeah, they actually got really popular in Japan. He lived in Japan for a while, but kind of it's not distorted guitars, but it's punk. It's fast paced. It's like there's no screaming or anything. It's like pretty straight ahead pop punk. Kind of take the Kinks and then go through the Ramones and then go to like the Queers and Screeching Weasel and like extremely simple, quick pop punk. All about the vocal melody, really catchy, kind of like Brian Wilson, Beatles, Beach Boys, kind of very memorable, catchy. And all the bass is all like very high and melodic. I think they have 4 full lengths, but they're my favorite like straight ahead punk band in the last 20 years easily, but they're not that
Right.
well known.
Fix my brain.
They
Nice.
have four. It's just like extremely simple, straight ahead, like probably no pedals. They just plug straight into the amp, sort of tune, and then
Nice.
go.
You know, sometimes that's all you need. Sometimes you just need that's just straight up punk, you know? No,
Yep.
no, just give it to me, honey. Yeah.
Three chords and the truth.
Yeah, exactly. They disbanded and kind of morphed into this band. And I think they put out two records under this name, but it's sort of the exact same sound.
Why does
Um,
that look like a bootleg Hall and Oates cover?
I was gonna say it looks like a Smiths single.
yep, and these are all on a Seattle label called Dirt Nap Records.
Okay.
But I highly recommend this. Radioactivity got a little more notoriety. They will sell out their whole tour in Europe, playing small. They definitely played at St. Vitus. I think there's a show of Marked Men and Radioactivity. What is that
Wow.
YouTube guy that does those great live videos? I can't remember the name. A lot at St. Vitus. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, Hate 5 6, I think.
Yes, Hate 5 6. There's a couple of there may be one of them. But the Marked Men and Radioactivity, best punk group out of Texas in the last 25 years. Check it out.
Okay.
All right, I think we're on the last round of records. So, Christina, I know you did a very famous video where you reacted to some black metal, and
Ooh, I need to see this.
yeah.
It's so tragic.
Well,
I
you
still
picked
get roasted.
you
Okay.
you picked. I mean, it's like you picked like not the ones that you would pick to ease someone into the genre.
Shoot, really? I thought
Oh,
I
you
did.
you went for like the old school, like the
I thought I went like, you know, yeah, like the Zeppelins of black
yeah.
metal. I tried to go, you know. Okay, so I did this
Um,
wrong.
Well, you know what's funny? I've been getting over the years. I've been getting more and more into black metal, but a lot of the stuff that interests me in black metal is not the like pure black metal, but it's like what people are able to just do when they push the genre a little bit. And I think
Oh,
there's been a lot of because the band that got me into black metal is Death Heaven, which a lot of black metal people are like, well, that's not they're the poser band or whatever. But it got me into the sound enough to want to explore other stuff. And I did explore some like legit black metal bands, and one that's more in like the progressive prog rock area of black metal that I really have been enjoying lately is this Australian band called Ne Oblivisaris.
Oh,
see,
cool.
I'm not the only one with the Uzi. I don't need your sass, Mueller. I don't need your sass. Oblivious. Never heard it, dear.
Ne Oblivisaris, I think is how
Oh,
you
Oblivious.
pronounce it. And it might be Obliviscaris, maybe. I don't know. But I've never heard it pronounced. But this is their 2017 album, Earn. It's the last full length they put out. And this is a really interesting band. They do a it's because they're black metal, but they're also like, they do like extreme metal that like, think like Devin Townsend kind of stuff.
Oh, okay.
And they're really cool because they have I think a violin player in the band,
Whoa.
and
Ooh.
which reminded me of this old like prog death metal band I used to listen to called Unexpect that also had a violin player in them. But I think these guys are better than Unexpect. And they also they switch between like the male black metal vocals and some female sung vocals that are really interesting. It's
Ooh.
a very eclectic sound that I think, especially if you're like if you're not normally a black metal kind of person, or you could also call this like progressive death metal or melodic death metal as well. There's a lot to like here. There's a lot for people to be able to approach it with,
Hmm.
and
Is
it's
it
just
It
musically
sounds
very interesting.
it sounds like it would also be like a big band too. How many people are in this? You know?
It is a bigger band. It's well from the inside of the album, it looks like there's only 5 people, but I think I've seen
Maybe
them.
they get a
I've
lot
seen
of
live
people.
videos of them. Well, this album actually, I think they recorded this album right after they kicked their bass player out, and
Okay.
so I think this is minus the bass player. They got the bass player from what's that really famous '90s prog metal band? I'm blanking on the name. Um, someone will tell me in the
Insert band
comments.
name here after it posts.
Yeah. But so they had a session bassist for this, but I've seen live videos of them, and I think on stage they're like 7 people sometimes.
Cool.
Wow. Okay.
Is the imagery kind of akin to like the song titles and stuff akin to what I might expect with that album cover?
Yeah, it's the song titles are all like looks like Latin. Yeah, like Liberia, Intravenous,
Yeah, I love
Erie.
that. That's like, yeah, I got that vibe just from the name, that Latin sensation.
Yeah,
Yeah, of
it's that kind of. I mean, that's the black metal bands. They're always doing like
course.
the mythical, like old pagan stuff.
Sweetness,
Yeah,
Ave Satanas.
it's
Yes.
cool. I dig the LARPing. It's awesome.
Listen, I mean, everybody has a like figure. Christmas, there's Santa Claus. Black metal, there's Satan. Pick
Yeah.
one, you know?
Well, I do like I like bands that are able to provide like they kind of create their own world. Like I think that's always been something that's been really interesting about metal to me is like it's like this kind of storytelling thing where it's like they're able to bring the audience into like it's like almost like escapism. It's like a Tolkien novel.
Okay, so that's really
Exactly.
interesting you say this. You guys are okay, you like hardcore stuff. You also come from a classical background. Really good people to ask, do you like symphonic black metal?
Oh hell yeah.
Okay.
That's
I've never heard
oh
it. So.
what's the band Dimmu Borgir.
Yeah,
Oh,
Dimmu Borgir.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. Those are you're huge in this. They are the kings of symphonic black
Yeah.
metal,
No,
right?
I've listened to them and I like them a lot. I need to get I think I only have one of their albums on vinyl. I need to get more of their stuff.
Yeah, I found it in the thrift. Like I found a CD and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna try this out because I actually liked it from that video that I did. After I checked out a couple of songs, I'm like, this isn't that tragic. I think again because it's more melodic, it's driven by melody more.
Yeah, they're not really like I don't know if I maybe their early stuff I'd call black metal. They're more like symphonic melodic death metal. Like if they didn't have the symphonic element, I think I would just call them like melodic death metal.
Okay, I'm gonna show you the record that I don't remember where it is now, but I'll take a picture one time and you let me know if that falls under that or that. But here's one that is very up that alley of celebrating the dark one, he who shall not be named. um, this is actually not the record that I was going to show. The only reason why I showed this is because to me, this is probably the first punk record. Okay.
Oh, I think I know what this. I think I know what this is going to be. Oh no,
No? Witchcraft?
Whoa.
Coven?
I don't know this.
I don't either.
You know the band Coven? You guys don't know Coven?
No.
No.
Teach us.
Oh, okay. This is so, it's cult to its core. It's a cult band, but this is like the first original satanic band. I mean, it's about like destroy minds and reap souls, you know, and it's literally, I mean, the songs on here are like, they got like a song called Black Mass and stuff. And it's funny, the controversies, a lot of people would say, you know, was it Sabbath, was it Dio that had the devil horns first? It was actually these guys.
So these guys are pre-Sabbath.
These guys are around they're like about a year, they came about a year or 10 months before Sabbath.
Really?
Funny thing, there's also an Ozzy Osbourne in this band.
Really?
Weird. Very weird.
Oh,
That's
like like same name, different person.
same name, different person, different spelling. So a lot of people believe, what the heck? Sabbath probably ripped these guys off. So it's a conspiracy that they put out there. But this is a really, really, you know, like it's an intense one. I really feel like this is punk as shit. This is so punk. In terms of its ethos, but this is not what I was going to put. This is what I was going to show. I think this is something that you would probably know due to who's in this band. But this is, I think, 2017. I don't know why this is the year for us in this video, but it is 2017. Here we go. Crystal Fairy, a super group that was done with Omar Rodriguez.
Oh.
No, the Melvins and the Darling from Le Butcherettes, one of my favorite bands at the moment.
Yeah.
Very tasty.
I know the people in this band, but I don't know this band.
But you don't know the project. It's a very good project. The 10-inch records of this are extremely expensive.
Is all Omar stuff is, yeah.
Yes, and Melvin's too, like, because they are so culty, it flies. So, but this is killer. Song on here to definitely check out, Drugs on the Bus. Damn.
That's a good song, man.
Yeah, she's tasty.
All
What do
right,
you got?
last one. I didn't know what to choose. I'm just gonna go. It's like something I've loved in the last few years, from the old school Southern California roots of Keith Morris and his nasty dreadlocks into the modern era of off. So Keith Morris, who sang on the first Black Flag EP, Nervous Breakdown. This is kind of a super group. The drummer Mario Rubalcaba was in Hot Snakes and Rocket from the Crypt and Earthless, and the bass player Steve McDonald was in Red Cross, and the guitarist Dimitri Coates was in Burning Brides. This is just this whole album. I think there's 15 songs, and it's like 22 minutes long. Um, the cover art is done by Raymond Pettibone, who of course did the famous Sonic Youth
Sonic
Goo
Youth.
album cover, and all the old Black Flag stuff. But I think they tried to make an album. They did like a fundraiser and didn't quite get there, so they didn't do it. But Keith Morris, I think, is like 66 years old now and still sings in this band. They can't obviously tour and play, but everyone else is kind of like in their early 40s, I believe. But powerhouse. There's a great video of them playing at 923 Gilman Street in Berkeley, a whole show. And I think there's another one. They did an Amoeba in-store
Whoa.
out here in LA. But this is great music. It's just fun. It's like that kind of Southern California early 80s kind of vibe, but this came out,
Yeah,
I don't
I
know.
love that SoCal.
This is like
Vibe.
5 years old. So
Yeah, off are great. I mean, Keith Morris. I'm a big fan of Keith Morris. I still need to read his book. I haven't read
oh,
his book
you
yet.
should read it. It's great. It's a good one. Lots of wild tales.
I haven't seen Off play, but I did when I lived in New York. I did see him play with Flag, and that was really fun.
Oh, was that at the Irving Plaza?
Yeah, and TSOL opened,
Oh man,
and TSOL might be my favorite like Southern California punk band, and I lost my shit when they played Watch
Yeah,
Away.
that's a killer lineup for sure.
man. I
And
think
at Irving Plaza, what a venue. Like,
yep.
damn.
And I think that there's maybe some video from that because the drummer and the guitar from the Descendants played with Flag, right?
Whoa.
Yeah, I think so.
And Des Cadena, who used to be in Misfits, played the other guitar. If I'm not mistaken. I think there's some video of this on YouTube,
Well,
and
I
it's
think I
so
think
good.
most of the pretty much all but one of the people in that band at one point were in Black Flag.
Right. Um, Chuck Dukowski, the bassist,
Yeah,
and I think that Des Cadena also used to be in Black Flag at some
yeah,
point.
he was the singer for a while.
Yeah. And then what's the guy's name? Blinking. Bill Stevenson from Descendants also played in Black Flag for some time. But this is kind of that Flag stuff is great. But if you've never heard Off, it's pretty fun. You can listen to this whole album in like less than 30 minutes. So not a lot of time involved.
Oh, I love that.
Okay, well, I think we made it through quite a few albums in this hour long talk. So I want to thank you both for joining me for this. I've wanted to do something like this for a while, so I'm
So
so
fun.
pleased we could make it work. Um,
It's an honor. You guys are so fabulous. My gosh. Yeah.
Likewise.
Yeah, man.
so for everyone watching on my channel, go check out Michael at Noted and Archived. Go check out the Vinyl Guru, and we will see you next time. Cheers.
Thanks.